I came up with this theory after watching a Dawn and Dusk video regarding Elbaph being a land of devils in the past, which is basically a fact, as we know Elbaph used to be inhabited by monstrous beings with horns, such as Oars who looked demonic. It was mentioned in the video that the word Elbaph could stand for Baphomet, as we found out going into the arc that Elbaph is not spelled with F but with PH, like Baphomet. I didn't think much of it at first. I thought it was interesting but wasn't certain for it being the case. But then I had an insane realization and everything connected with my own theory regarding Elbaph. As I explained in my video, Elbaph Arc explained, I believe Elbaph's heaven realm is inhabited by a racially homogeneous group of tyrant so-called gods based on the Norse pantheon, who will be the main antagonists of the arc. I even mentioned how the heaven realm is an inversion of meaning, with heaven being a domain where devils rule. Therefore, given that these lurking gods exist, I began wondering who is their leader. There should be an absolute ruler, and therefore Luffy's final boss for the arc. You see, God's Knights are cool, Saint Somers, Saint Killingham and Gunko, but they're not enough. And as for Loki, he won't be a true antagonist, but the final straw hat, and I will explain all about it in another video. Yes, they could potentially square off with Luffy at some point, but it won't last for long. I was in between Odin and Thor regarding who is the leader, but I then made the connection with Baphomet and another Norse god, whom I wasn't sure if he would appear in the story, Ymir. Ymir is the primordial Norse god and father of all Jotun, the giants of Norse mythology. It is said that he was slain by Odin and his siblings Vili and Ve, which is what made me question if he would appear or just be a historical figure who has passed away. I conclude that Ymir is actually the ruling god of the heaven realm in a combination with Baphomet. Let's read a description of Ymir's appearance. Ymir was a massive primordial icy being. He had long white and grey hair, shiny white eyes, and blue skin like ice. Some sources mentioned he had horns like a ram or bull. His body was masculine, but he could spawn offspring by his sweat and legs, making him technically hermaphrodite. So, Ymir shares Baphomet's most basic traits, such as horns, being androgynous, and the beard, which connects my theory about Elbaph's Norse gods with the theory of the name Elbaph being derived from Baphomet. Now, we also read that Ymir was an icy being, and he is often attributed with ice abilities. Remember what I told you about Hyrudin in my Elbaph video? Hyrudin traveled to Dressrosa to obtain the Fire Logia Devil Fruit, which he believed would make him king of giants. Why would it make him king of the giants? Because he planned to use his fire abilities to take down the icy Ymir, the true hidden king of Elbaph, who parallels Imu, the hidden king of the world. Remember what else I said? Elbaph's heaven realm parallels the Holy Land Marijoa. Both are supposedly holy places at the top, but in reality, devils inhabit them. Ymir, similar to Imu, has been alive for many more years than regular giants, whose life expectancy is around 300 years. Contrary to what many falsely believe, Imu is not a female, and I will explain why on another video, but many speculated that Jarul was referring to him when he said he is into older women. False. He is referring to goddesses of the heaven realm, where Loki's mother originated from as well. Consider that Baphomet has a pentagram on the forehead. Where have we seen the pentagram in One Piece? It is of course in the abyss portals of the Gorosei and God's Knights. Ymir is the one who made some kind of deal with them, granting them access to the palace after the battle, and not King Harald. King Harald as well as Loki fought them in the past, with their final clash being at the palace when King Harald lost his life. Consider also that Ainge says that nobody took over Harald's throne after the incident. But how could it be? Is it possible their nation goes on without a ruler? In reality, there is a ruler, Ymir, who reigns unchallenged, with King Harald being dead and Loki being imprisoned at the realm of the dead. Why do you think Loki identifies as the sun god besides his fruit? What is the sun god Nika known to do? Freeing slaves. Loki doesn't bow down to Ymir and wants to be freed so that he can destroy them. In one of the arc's earlier chapters, we read a text by the explorer Louis Arnaud, who warned against staying at Elbaph for long. Why is that? Many speculated it being related to time dilution that could potentially affect a human's life expectancy, or others suggested a possible gigantification effect at Elbaph. But these possibilities go out the window given that many humans have been to Elbaph for extended periods of time without issues, such as Skopergaban, Mother Carmel, Big Mom and Shanks. The answer lies behind the fact that we haven't heard anything about the gods of the Heaven Realm yet. Why is no one mentioning them? I speculate it's because as prideful giants, they feel great shame for being enslaved to them and pay them tributes of some kind, just so they can keep living on the Sun Realm, below the Heaven Realm from where they pull the strings. If a visitor stays for long, they will have to pay the tax, with it likely being something more sinister than a monetary amount. Big Mom did actually employ such a system at the Utopia Totoland, where its inhabitants had to offer 1 month off of their remaining lifespan every 6 months as tax in order to keep living under her protection. Otherwise they had to leave, although a death penalty was implied for non-compliers. How did Big Mom came up with that? Probably by witnessing something similar on Elbaph, where her parents left her when she was a kid, and Mother Carmel adopted her. Ymir and the gods of the Heaven Realm are gaining a life tax from the poor giants, making them practically immortal. The thing is, Luffy won't like that and will kick their asses. You see, the D clan are the enemies of gods, with gods in the One Piece world being actually devils. It will all come down to Luffy kicking the actual Satan's ass in the end, who's turned everything upside down. As for the devilish Ymir, I speculate even the rest of the Heaven Realm's gods will turn on him, and I say that for 2 reasons. One is that, like I mentioned, Odin with his siblings were the ones who actually killed Ymir in Norse mythology. And 2, Loki in the Harley mural is shown holding a spear, which suggests he took the Ragnar from Thor and will give it up and come to terms with them when they all team up against Ymir. This is actually another parallel of Ymir with Imu, who will likely have the 5 elders turn on him as well in the end, although Imu will just absorb them to raise his power. It is a known fact that arc final bosses often parallel prior arc final bosses in One Piece, and therefore it makes sense. In any case, Luffy will beat Ymir and earn Loki's trust, who will follow him for the final war. One last piece of evidence that makes the theory of Ymir, the king of Elbaph, being connected to Baphomet is Rhodes' Shangat attire from the arc's earlier chapters, where he tried to trap the Straw Hats in his personal diorama. Many wondered regarding what his mask alluded to, with some speculating it being an alternative sun god and Loki's devil fruit transformation. But no, I believe it is alluding to Ymir, while also resembling Baphomet, who, as explained, is similar to Ymir. The whole Rhodes situation with his diorama, which actually was called Land of Gods, is a metaphor in relation to Ymir, whose own diorama are the Elbaph's lower levels. Furthermore, Rhodes' raven Magin likely parallels the eagle of the gods of the Heaven Realm, which is none other than the eagle positioned on top of Yggdrasil in Norse mythology, the equivalent of Treasure Tree Adam in One Piece. You can expect another insane theory coming out this week, so stay tuned for that. Take care of yourself so that you don't miss it.